Tensions and emotions running high at New Haven Superior Court, where Jonathan Jara-Aucapina has been arraigned for the murder of 27-year-old Lizzbeth Aleman-Popooca. Lizzbeth was found dead on July 15th in a shallow grave behind Lamonaco's in Bramford, where her longtime boyfriend, Jonathan Jara-Aucapina, worked. She had been missing for 2 weeks before her body was found. East Haven police kept the details of the investigation quiet to prevent tipping off Jara of his inconsistent story.
He then used this story to lie to her family, her loved ones, and then eventually law enforcement when her family basically forced him to report her missing.
After more than 5 months of investigating, Jara was arrested Sunday at Cody's Diner in New Haven, a moment Lizzbeth's family has been anxiously awaiting.
It was about time. We were waiting for 6 months, for the longest. It felt like an eternity. It was a lot to take in. I don't think nobody has to go through this. It was a lot of anger. It was a lot of sadness, emptiness. I felt alone.
Lizzbeth's family does not want her to be remembered by this act of violence, but instead her beautiful spirit. She was a daughter, a friend, a sister, and most importantly, a mother. Fox 61 was there as Jara-Aucapina arrived at court this morning in handcuffs. Inside the courtroom, his attorney urging the judge to reduce his bond to $500,000, which ultimately was rejected.
Defendants charged with what in the state's perspectives a calculated homicide, took extraordinary steps to cover up the crime and avoid prosecution. He has ties to Ecuador, which is his place of birth, and I believe after this arrest is now a serious flight risk.
The judge granted Jara's passport be handed in immediately, and due to the sensitive nature of the ongoing investigation, the state urged to have the arrest warrant sealed for 2 weeks.
Despite the lengthy nature of this investigation, there are still some ongoing efforts in this investigation that could be compromised if all the details in the warrant can be made public.
Jonathan Aucapina's bond has been set at $2 million and is set to be in court on January 18th. Reporting in New Haven, Lauren Zenzi, Fox 61 News.